Redevelopment Agency.
It's the mayor.
Yes?
Do you have yourself muted?
He's got two devices on.
Oh.
Are we ready?
I don't know. Somebody's
Try
using
again?
the wrong PC.
Okay, we'll try that again. Welcome to our meeting of the Delray Beach Community Redevelopment Agency this Tuesday, September 24th. The time is 4:01 p.m. Would you please call the roll?
Chair Carney. Vice Chair Burns.
Here.
Deputy Vice Chair Markert.
Here?
Commissioner Casal.
Here.
And Commissioner Long.
All right. Let's. I still got playback. I'm okay. Okay. I'll set back a little bit here. Okay.
Excuse me.
Can I get a?
Oh, just, sorry,
Yes.
one moment. Oh, go ahead.
If I understand that Mr. Carney is attending, can we confirm we can hear him?
We could see him.
He's speaking, but we can't hear him, is what our attorney is saying.
Can't hear me.
Mayor,
I see. Okay,
I can hear him now.
what's going on?
Great. Do we need a
Can you hear me
vote
now?
too? Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Do we need a vote to have him appear virtually?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
But just for the record, he is attending virtually, but we want to be able to hear him participate in the meeting.
Okay.
Are you, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, fine, okay, thank you. Figure out how these buttons work.
Okay. Can I get a motion for the approval of the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Vice Chair Burns.
Yes.
Deputy Vice Chair Markert.
Yes.
Commissioner Casal.
Yes.
Commissioner Long. And Chair Carney.
Yes.
This is gonna push it away. All right. It is time for public comment on agenda and non-agenda items. Are there any public comments?
No, don't start the clock. I have a question. We don't come back up when it comes to the agenda, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, I'm George Long at 46 North Swinton Avenue. And I actually know what I'm talking about tonight. I have a master's degree in anthropology with a specialization in archaeology and quite a bit of research in historical archaeology. So when I talk about museums, I visit many of them, all the way from France to West Alabama, quite a range. But our museums here are a gem. They're just totally, as you know this, all of you know how important they are and what a contribution they are. But there's the two different sort of levels here. For one thing, we talk about the place. And I'm going to use the Historical Society, I'm familiar with that. That's a place that has outstanding exhibits with the field for the history around it. It's got it has visitors, groups that meet there. They have educationally, they have a wonderful archives, and I've even put a couple things in there. And they have a historic garden. The only thing wrong with that is that the seaside joyweed is a disappointment. Don't even bother to smoke it. Now, there's also something we might call intrinsic value, and this is the spin-off. Okay. And I'll give you an example. Old School Square. Do you think it's a pretty cool place? Do you think it's important in Delray? Do you think it's a cultural icon? Do all of you elected officials and board members proud of the history of Delray and want to contribute to it? When you see places like that, you do, of course. Well, that grew out of the Delray Beach Historical Society. They're the ones that came over and started that. People like Roy Simon, Francis Borquette, they came over there and said, we don't want a Kmart here. And that's a good idea. I'm so glad we don't have a Kmart there. It's a wonderful thing, and it keeps giving. It keeps contributing to the economic engine of Delray Beach and the downtown area. It's better than your stock in Blockbuster and Sears. This value increases throughout time. So anything that you can do for these institutions, you got to do it because it's going to pay over and over and over in the future as it has in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Are there any other public comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Are there any changes? Are there any?
Motion to approve consent agenda?
Second.
Deputy Vice Chair Markert,
Yes.
Commissioner Casal,
Yes.
Commissioner Long, Chair Carney, and Vice Chair Burns.
Yes. Okay, next is our old business. Ms. Jadison, are you presenting?
Yes. Good afternoon. Renee Jadising, Executive Director of the Delray Beach CRA. So our first item is a funding request from the Delray Beach Historical Society for our A-Guide funding program. So our Finance and Operations Director, Gina, will provide a little bit of background. We also have Winnie from the Historical Society if there are any questions for the organization.
Good afternoon. Okay, so as part of the A-Guide funding program, we had a meeting where we ranked all of our applicants, and in part of that, we decided to put up for your review. We had a request of an additional $25,000 over prior years from the Historical Society. So we wanted to present that with you, and it was within the guidelines and within their percentage of their total budget. So we're just asking, putting it up for your vote and approval.
I'll just add one thing. So the guidelines for A-Guide basically state that the support that we provide for years prior the current year should not increase more than prior years, but the board ultimately has the funding decision overall, which is why we're bringing this to the board to discuss today. And we received emails from the Historical Society basically indicating that costs have increased, and that's the reason why their request. And Winnie, if you wanted to come up and explain more, if the board would like, she can, but that's basically where the additional funding has come from. And I don't believe we've ever had an increase or change in funding from Historical Society. But
Okay. You had your hand up?
I was going to say, well, that's partly true.
Oh.
Not since 2021. They've been asking for the $75,000 since then. Prior to that, there was some funding. It was like $125,000 for like a 5-year period, and then it dropped down to the $75,000.
I know we don't have presentations today, but would the commission like to hear what Winnie has to present?
I was primarily going to answer any questions that you have. We are asking for $25,000 more than we had in previous years. We have not asked for an increase.
Sorry.
Yes.
Winnie, can you say your name?
I'm sorry. Winnie Edwards, the Delray Beach Historical Society Executive Director. We're trying to be very frugal. We really, really are. It's just our storage costs have increased 40%. As you know, we have the city archive, and it's expanded to the point where we're building up to the ceiling, and so we got an off-site auxiliary storage unit, and that's almost filled. So we're spending upwards of $7,000 a year on storage, and our grounds and gardens maintenance is up by 70% since last fiscal year. And we understand it. We built a garden, and we now we have to take care of it. It's like having a child, but it is growing, and it requires just an exceedingly amount of more maintenance, and we do it all ourselves in-house. But we have to buy tools and plants and equipment. We built a garden shed, all that. So those costs have increased. Just general cost of goods has increased. The ask this year is still at 21.3%. The allowable is 25%. The Historical Society over the last 5 years has grown 147% in terms of our output into the community and what we're offering the community. So we feel that this is a fair ask and somewhat frugal in nature, but it is very important to us for the next fiscal year.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
No, I already spoke.
No.
Okay. No questions? Okay. Thank you. So do we need a motion on this? Okay.
Yes.
Motion to approve A-Guide funding request for fiscal year 2024-25 for the Delray Beach Historical Society.
Second.
Commissioner Casal,
Yes.
Commissioner Long, Chair Carney,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burns,
Yes.
and Deputy Vice Chair Markert.
Yes.
Okay. The next item on the agenda, Renee, is that a presentation from you?
Yes, I have a couple comments on this. Okay. All right. So the next item is the adoption of our budget for fiscal year 2024-2025. So I'll just run through some of these earlier slides. A lot of the numbers are largely the same as what you saw in the last presentation. This just gives an overview of what's budgeted for the current fiscal year as opposed to the proposed for fiscal year 2020-25. Here shows a pie chart. So as we've seen, a substantial amount of funding that we have is going into sub-area 4, which is northwest neighborhood, and that's because of the Pompey Park infrastructure project. That represents about $45 million of our budget, and we have another over $8 million allocated for the northwest neighborhood infrastructure project. So I'll anticipate that the funding that's going into at least sub-areas 3, 4, and 8 will continue at this rate probably, as long as we keep the trajectory that we're on, because we have quite a few projects in the northwest, southwest neighborhoods that we are investing in. So here's a summary of the changes that have happened since the last budget to now. We sent an email about this with the fire life safety captain position that was rescinded basically, or ending this fiscal year. So we removed that funding from the budget. And then clean and safe, there was an additional request from the police department for the camera program of $36,000. Also, the pressure cleaning item, we talked to the city, that's about $99,000. So that'll be pressure cleaning twice a month as opposed to once a month. And then we also have the tree removal and replacement estimate, about $75,000. We don't have the actual cost, but we felt that this was a good place to start. And if there's additional funds needed, we can work with the city on that and through a budget amendment later on. So these slides are just an overall of kind of some of the things that we're looking at, long-term, short-term initiatives. It's a summary of our work plan, our projects, and our budget, but we try to sum it up in short-term and long-term planning. So you can see we have quite a few plans that are underway, our current CRA plan amendment, the set transformation plan amendment, and we also want to continue on with developing strategies to develop West Atlantic, and also identifying additional sites for acquisition. As far as CRA properties and maintenance and activation, again, we went through this before, but we are planning to do a project at our office, the 20 North Swinton location, also Arts Warehouse, and we have 95 Southwest 5th Avenue currently under construction, and 98 Northwest 5th Avenue is complete, but we need to do some more activation there and signage for the building. So turning now to CRA property development, these are just our larger assets that we have on the West Atlantic corridor, and there's just a list there of different things, but I think you can see our focus really, we want to try to come up with ways and strategies to activate off Atlantic Avenue, in addition to the infill, which is where we're going for the next, is demolition of existing structures that we have that are either can be used for affordable housing or for commercial. And then the city projects, we have a whole slew of these, but these are all the different projects that we're working on with the city for funding. Some parks projects, infrastructure, so you can see it's a wide range. At the very bottom, the last two are more studies. We're working with the city on the disparity study and also the accessory dwelling unit study, which are both underway. And at the very bottom, I just wanted to keep this in the back of everyone's mind, is for future infrastructure projects, is the Southwest neighborhood. I know Northwest obviously was our starting point, that's been our focus, but I want to keep it in everyone's mind that the priorities were to finish off with the Southwest neighborhood eventually. So I just added that there as a footnote. There's no funding for that, but it's something just to keep in mind. These are just a few thoughts for going to the fiscal year. Every year I remind everyone we're not here forever, so let's make the most of the time we have. Our current sunset date is 2024. With the plan amendment that we're going through, we can extend, we have one more year basically, so 2045 would be our final year. So just looking at the amount of infrastructure projects we have and just general development, we have quite a bit of work and 20 years or so years to do it in. So just something to keep in the back of our heads. And also there's just a couple quotes here. One is from our redevelopment plan that's talking about, part of our real purpose for programs and projects is to solve underlying problems that have a blighted influence on the community. So just, keeping those words slum, blight, we're trying to really eliminate that and improve the community to increase the tax base, but also to make it better for people who live here and visit. And the last is just a definition from the statute about community redevelopment and redevelopment. And you'll see the same thing throughout about eliminating slum and blight, helping provide support for affordable housing to improve the area. So just a couple things to keep in mind as we're looking forward to projects in the future. I know we have some workshops coming up thinking about West Atlantic. So just, wanted to throw these out there as some focus points for us. Oh. And that's it for the budget.
Okay. Commissioner, are there any questions?
None for me.
Discussion?
No questions?
Okay.
Motion
Can I
to
get a motion?
approve resolution number 2024-11, adoption of Delray Beach Community Redevelopment Agency fiscal year 24-25 budget.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Long, Chair Carney,
You said yes. Okay.
Vice Chair Burns,
Yes.
Deputy Vice Chair Markert,
Yes.
and Commissioner Casal.
Yes.
Okay, item 9C. Renee and Gina, are you?
I'll present this one. Okay. So this item is also in a way relating to the budget. So I brought this up at the past couple meetings, but this year there was a revision to a statute relating to special districts, and the CRA is a dependent special district. So basically, all special districts, including CRAs, are to establish goals and objectives for each program and activity undertaken by the agency, basically by October 1st. There weren't strict guidelines of how to do this, and we have to report on it on our website by next December. So we came up with a couple pages of kind of an overview and tied it into our budget and our work plan. So all of that's available in the backup, but we thought that was a good way to measure how we're doing because the special district statute relates to many different types of special districts. Some have objectives and things in their statute, some don't. CRAs happen to have quite a few. We have to do an annual report by March 31st. Already, and we do that. So this is kind of looking like an interim report. We've been talking to other CRAs through the state, and that's how we're kind of interpreting it. And if it's wrong, we can pivot and adjust. But at this point, we are tying it to the budget, or we would like to, and see how it goes. But trying to keep it simple and not get too complicated.
I read it, and it's very simple and very comprehensive, so I think you did a great job on that.
Thank you.
Any discussion, any questions?
No.
Okay.
Motion
get a
to
motion?
approve the approval of the goals and objectives analysis, establishing goals, objectives, and performance measures and standards for programs and activities undertaken by the Delray Beach Community Redevelopment Agency during fiscal year 24-25 to comply with the Florida statute, section 189.0694.
Second.
Chair Carney,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burns,
Yes.
Deputy Vice Chair Markert,
Yes.
Commissioner Casal,
Yes.
and Commissioner Long.
Okay. 9D. Do we have, is there a presentation for that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Christine Tibbs, Assistant Director. Good afternoon, Commissioners. So on May 30th, 2024, the CRA Board approved the issuance of a request for proposals for the disposition of vacant lots at 4 lots located at 250 and 256 Northwest 8th Avenue. A few of them share the same street address, but they are 4 separate lots. The RFP was issued on June 7th, 2024, had a proposal submission date of July 22nd, 2024. And just to go over it again, the RFP was to obtain proposals from qualified not-for-profit entities specializing in the development and construction of affordable workforce housing to enter into an agreement with one qualified not-for-profit entity to develop and construct 4 single-family homes on each of the subject properties, with the end goal of providing for sale single-family housing that is priced and restricted on a long-term basis per the City of Delray Beach Workforce Housing Program. By this on these proposal submission deadline, 2 proposers submitted their proposals, and they were the Delray Beach Community Land Trust and Habitat for Humanity of Greater Palm Beach County. And in this slide before you, you'll see an overview of the proposals. So Delray Beach Community Land Trust offered $5,000 per lot with a total of $20,000. Their home sales prices ranged from $353,380 to $385,230. And they had 4 different models proposed, 2 2-story homes and 2 1-story homes, and they are using the Community Land Trust model. Habitat for Humanity offered $10,000 per lot for a total of $40,000. Their sales price, they stated within their proposal that they are selling the homes at the appraised value, and they estimated that the appraised value of the homes would be $475,000. And should the appraised value be higher, the home sales price would not exceed the local housing assistance plan maximum. They proposed 1 model on all of the lots, which is a 1-story home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage, which met the standards within the RFP. For the home sales structure, and I provided the statement they submitted in their proposal. In situations where buyers have lower incomes, Habitat for Humanity may utilize a community land trust model. So that's what they stated. And on September 10th, 2024, the evaluation committee, which consisted of 2 CRA staff and 1 city staff member, met, reviewed, and discussed both proposals. And they scored the proposals. And Delray Beach Community Land Trust came out with 286 points. Habitat for Humanity came out with 278 points. Based on the scores, the evaluation committee recommended that the RFP be awarded to the Community Land Trust. And at this time, CRA staff is requesting the CRA board accept the evaluation committee's recommendation, award the RFP 2024-05, the disposition of CRA-owned vacant lots at 250 and 256 Northwest 8th Avenue, to the Delray Beach Community Land Trust, and authorize CRA staff to enter into contract negotiations with them.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or discussion?
No, I would just comment that I support this. We see that Habitat is looking to give us an additional $20,000. The price of the houses is excessive for what we're looking to see at the $475,000 versus the CLT model. And also, it wasn't exactly, I was talking to Renee, surprised when I read the agenda cover sheet to see that they haven't determined what situation buyers having lower income, that's a variable. I didn't like that. So I do support the CLT in this, and I'm finally excited we're moving forward with this. It took a long time. Thank you.
Commissioner?
Nothing. I'm happy to make a motion if you'd like.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion for the disposition of CRA-owned vacant lots for the development of affordable/workforce housing to the Delray Beach Community Land Trust.
Second.
Vice Chair Burns,
Yes.
Deputy Vice Chair Markert,
Yes.
Commissioner Casal.
Can I just say, we didn't ask the mayor if he wanted to. Did he want to comment? I
He didn't
forgot.
raise his hand, but Mayor, did you want to comment?
All I wanted to say is that I like the price point of the CLT much better, and I think that if can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and if our goal is to really get home ownership, I like the lower the price point, and I think that I agree with Commissioner Casal's assessment. I mean, I love Habitat for Humanity, but CLT does great work too, and I'm delighted to support them in this.
Thank you. So we had a motion and second?
I think we're up to me. I think we already took one vote.
Commissioner
Okay.
Casal,
Yes.
Commissioner Long, and Chair Carney.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations to the Land Trust.
Good job. Great job.
Okay, we're at 9E, the Executive Director's Annual Review. Did you want to proceed with that? We have.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Christine Tibbs, Assistant Director. So per the CRA Executive Director's original agreement, the CRA Board shall engage in an annual performance evaluation of the CRA Director. And at this time, this item is being brought before the CRA Board to discuss and provide direction.
Okay. Is there a recommendation or?
So I just wanted to add, in prior years, I've provided the same or similar statement, that a recommendation of a salary increase is pretty typical of what the board has done, and the increase has ranged from 6 to 7%.
Okay. Thank you.
I would move for 6.
Commissioner Margaret, any comment?
No comments.
Okay. Chair Carney, thank you. I want to say Chair Mayor. You have any comments?
You're chair. I'm just promoting. So
This time.
I'm just.
Any comment or recommendation?
No, I think 6%. Considering the frugality we're trying to do this year, I think that 6% is a fair number.
Okay. And I agree with that as well. Can
Yeah,
I
and if I
get a
may
motion?
comment, could I just comment on that? I think, Renee, I would just like to say, I tell you all the time, you're amazing. By far, one of the most impressive ladies in the city, and there are so many, so the standard is so high. And I would give you 20, but we are within a budget, and also we cannot, we have to kind of consider what we can do in the city as well to try and be fair and even. But I think so much of you, and I'm so remarkably impressed with all your accomplishments. You make us look amazing, and I really thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. So did we get the motion?
Oh, a motion to approve CRA Executive Director's annual review at 6% increase.
And
Second.
and to amend her employment agreement accordingly.
And to amend our employment agreement accordingly. Thank you.
I second that.
Thank you.
Deputy,
have-
oh, I'm sorry.
Is that okay?
Okay. When would the increase be effective?
Effective immediately, or is it retroactive? Are we late?
It's retroactive to
Okay.
June 29th.
Perfect. Thank you.
You include
I would
that in
add
the
that it should
motion?
be retroactive to June
29.
29th. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Of course. Thank you for
Okay,
noting that.
so do we need to have a second to that amended motion?
I think it was a clarification.
Okay.
Since the motion wasn't made totally, is just clarified it. Could we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Deputy Vice Chair Markert,
Yes.
Commissioner Casal,
Yes.
Commissioner Long, Chair Carney, and Vice Chair Burns.
Yes. Okay. Other business. Executive Director.
Yes, okay. Well, thank you very much. As you know, I truly appreciate working with everyone here in the city. It's fantastic being here, so I always appreciate your support and keeping us going forward. So I have a couple updates. I'm not sure the screen isn't moving, but I don't know. Oh. Something's happening. It's not moving. Well, I'll just say it. So on September 4th, we had the first meeting of the Redevelopment Advisory. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we had the first meeting of the CRA Redevelopment Advisory Committee. We had all but one member there, but I met with the gentleman after and explained it was just the kickoff meeting. So during our presentation, we had this on our board meeting. 2 of the members had selected a chair and vice chair. So when we appointed, basically, those were the ones who were chair and vice chair. But at the advisory meeting, the chair, or who was to be chair, thought because we were doing so much in the Northwest Southwest set area that she wanted to defer to the representatives from those districts to be chair and vice chair. So she relinquished, I guess, and asked for is Angela Hill and Lucica Suarez to be chair and vice chair. So I just wanted to bring that up to the board's attention, since it was something for the board to do, but they came back and kind of said that they wanted people with more knowledge in the area to step forward. They're still participating, obviously, and they even talked about doing committee meetings with their neighbors, having breakout meetings. So they seem very engaged and active, but as far as the leading the chair and vice chair, they wanted to pass that on to others. So I just wanted to, it was very nice. I mean, they were very happy to have that. So we are meeting again on October 7th, and the rest of the schedule is there, but they were provided all the materials for their first tasks, and it seems like they're really engaged and ready to go out and chat with their neighbors. So we're excited to see what they come back with.
Very good.
And next, I've mentioned this a few times, but we have the FRA conference, Redevelopment Advisory Committee conference in Tampa. So we are going, some of our staff will be going up there for that week, October 21st week, and coming back on the 25th. So again, if anyone wants to join, we already have some, or one that's participating, maybe two, but if anyone else wants to join, please let me know, and we'll have you there. Just so you know, next year's conference will be in West Palm Beach, so it'll be easier, yes, to fight for that. But we push to have something down in South County because it hasn't been in this area, even Tri-County, since I think 2014 or 13. So we're excited to have them back down. And then the Green Market's coming back again. We're opening up October 29th. I know we see some faces there every week. So just wanted to have a reminder that we are there every Saturday. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any comments by the attorney?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners?
Nothing further.
I would just like to say thank you to my fellow commissioner for a day, Ms. McCrae, for joining me. I thoroughly enjoyed your time, and I hope you enjoyed the experience. You're welcome. Yes, you can say whatever you like.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
Mayor Carney?
Nope, nothing.
Okay. Really? Did I beat Adam Frankel's time? All right.
With authority.
Well, it is now, let's see, the official time is 4:33 p.m. Meeting adjourned.
Did you beat Franco?
I did.
Way to go, Ann.